Hey guys, welcome back to Tomatoes, Poppies, and Everything Gardening. I'm Heather from Virginia. And yes, can you see what's going on behind me? Hurricane Debbie has arrived. We are having 3 to 4 days of just rain, rain, rain. But last night I went out, I harvested a lot. As you can see, this is just a small portion. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you my table. It's full of harvest, and I don't know what I'm going to do with everything, but I am going to do another. This will be the third tomato tasting video for you guys. So let's go ahead, get started, and talk about tomatoes. All right, I've got my basket unloaded. I did not unload the colanders. I do think there may be some tomatoes down in there, but mostly peppers, cucumbers, variety of peppers. But what we're focused on, and look at these gorgeous eggplants. I'm gonna make something, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night. I'll make a stuffed eggplant dish. I don't even know what peppers these are. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I think what we're gonna talk about in this video, and it may take a few days for some of the tomatoes to be completely ripe that we need to talk about, because we've already talked about so many, but I know I still need to talk about Whitmore. Look at this big one. So he needs a few days, at least 3 or 4 days. And I'm pretty 90% sure this is also Whitmore, but because I can't guarantee it 100%, I'm going to wait till this one's completely ripe and ready to do the taste test. We already talked about pineapple. This is a real small Big Daddy. I have much bigger Big Daddies over there on my kitchen windowsill ripening. So this one is not the one we're going to sample, but we will talk about Big Daddy and one of my favorite tomatoes of all time, Ace 55. So all of these came off of the Ace 55 in the last 1 to 2 days. And look at the color. So I've kind of put them from least ripe to most ripe. You can see the color change. So Ace 55 will be one. New Big Dwarf. We're going to talk about New Big Dwarf. I'm growing those in my green stock. And a couple other. I don't know. Did I already say Queen of the Night? We're going to talk about Queen of the Night. Isn't that pretty? This is not 100% ripe, but close. So we have a lot of tomatoes to discuss, so I hope you will hang with me here over the next few days, and we will taste those tomatoes. You can see Ace 55 here on the bottom. It is a beautiful round red tomato, and for me it is extremely consistent and a productive, determinate plant. It tolerates so well in full sun, in the heat. Very balanced, super smooth flavor. Yet I think it's like a classic tomato taste as well. Juicy but not mealy, and it's just a nice solid tomato. And then the New Big Dwarf, and this is what I wrote down for that tomato. You can see it's a pink one. Sweet and pleasant, juicy but not watery. It has a lot of cat facing. It is prone to that. I have noticed on the fruits. Did really well in my green stock. It's a dwarf. Very balanced and tasty, and not too mealy. Has a good texture. So I plan to grow both of these again. You can see I use the slices from this tasting to make me a nice Caprese salad. Just basic slices, mozzarella. I drizzle with balsamic vinegar, and then you just top with some fresh basil from the garden. This is an excellent snack, lunch. We eat this so much in the summer. It's so delicious. All right, guys, so we talked about Ace 55 and we talked about New Big Dwarf. So now we're going to talk about Legend. It's also a dwarf. These are about the size fruits that I've been getting off of that. And I'm just going to slice one up real quick. Have a bite. I am making tomato pie again tonight, so a lot of these will be going into that recipe. It's just, I can see from here, put on my glasses, looks like it might have a wee bit of mealy texture, but let's try it and see. That is correct. It does. I'm not a fan of mushy, mealy kind of texture of a tomato. You can see by the size, they really weren't as big as I was expecting either. It's probably not going to be a keeper. So moving right along, I forgot to tell you what it tasted like. So I told you it was mealy, and the skin was a little tough, I thought. You can see the skin there. It's a little tough. It's not a bad flavor. Extremely mild. Almost a watery taste. Yeah. Not liking the skin in my mouth after I've dissolved the tomato and ate it. So, not a keeper for me. These are almost about the same size as the Legend that we just looked at. These are called Queen of the Night. You can see they're pretty gorgeous. And I'm thinking, where did I get the seeds? Baker Creek. So I'm just going to slice one open and we're going to try it. But won't these look gorgeous in my tomato pie tonight? How about this one? We'll go with this one. Well, maybe we'll go with the littler one. So they're kind of hard to tell when they're ripe. But after some trial and error, I've kind of decided when they look like this, they are ripe enough to eat. And then you always want to go by the feel. See, I'm pushing in. It's kind of bouncing back. It's got some give to it. It's nice and supple and soft. But you don't want it too squishy or soft. There's what the inside looks like. Like this one. This one's a little bit on the verge of being too squishy and soft. You can tell. Maybe a little past its prime. So let's take another slice. Wow. So whereas the Legend, which is this guy we just looked at, doesn't have much taste to it, this one definitely has flavor. It's a different type of flavor than like a traditional tomato. It's unique and different. It seems to have a bit of a thick wall. I've noticed that over the last several weeks that I've been eating these. Very different, very flavorful, and I really can't just put my finger on the flavor, but just know that it's complex. It's different than a traditional tomato flavor. It's got a wee bit of a bright tang, and they're just beautiful. I mean, look at that. It's almost like the Eye of Mordor. It's gorgeous. This would look pretty in a salad or some type of decorative tomato recipe, like maybe bruschetta. So these are not a no. I don't know if I'll grow these every year. It may just be a novelty thing I grow here and there because they are so beautiful, and really the pests have been leaving them alone, which is something around here. Okay, so we're going to move on. Okay, so we are going to talk about next Glacier. Glacier is also, it's a determinate, just like the Legend and the New Big Dwarf. Well, actually, I take that back. So for the New Big Dwarf, you know, like half of the websites say it's determinate, half of the websites say it's indeterminate. You can have a dwarf and it's an indeterminate. That is very much possible. I don't know about the Legend. I did not look that up. I know it's a dwarf. I do not know if it's determinate or indeterminate. But this Glacier, I'm 90% sure it's determinate. I'd have to go double check that. But this is my second year to grow Glacier. This year, my fruits are so much smaller than 2021 when I grew these. And I remember in 2021, I thought they were mealy and had that kind of mushy flavor. And I was giving them one more shot this year. But the fruits have all been about this size. And even some were smaller. So I don't know if just I had really much bigger shaped fruits for 2021, and this is more standard. But I'm having a feeling this is not going to be a keeper for me. You know, the name is Glacier, so this is supposedly one of the more cold tolerant tomatoes. It might be a good selection for someone living, you know, up in a colder northern climate that has a shorter growing season. Since I have such a long growing season and it gets so hot and humid, maybe this isn't the right tomato for me to be growing, but I'm going to try it. Let's see what we think. This is the last fruit off of that plant. The plant is now chucked into the woods because it died. It didn't take the heat too well. Very bright and acidic. Kind of delicate. It's really got a nice, almost like a punch of a ketchup flavor. So it definitely tastes like a tomato. I'm not getting a huge amount of mealiness. Maybe just a tad. Definitely this tomato has much more flavor than Legend. I may grow it again. I may try this as maybe a fall tomato. Not this year, I think it's too late, but maybe in the future I would do that. It's not bad at all. It has a really strong flavor. I think I will. I think I will try that one year as a fall tomato. So this is like a possibly we will grow again in the future. Not bad at all. Definitely if you're in a lower, not lower, well, yeah, lower. If you're in a lower growing zone or a northern location where you have a short window to grow tomatoes, I think this is only like, I'm going to say 50 to 60 days. And if you grow that, let me know. I'd be curious to see how it does in a different location. Okay, so y'all are going to laugh when I show you this. This is all I have left of my Super Sweet 100 cherry tomato plant. This is it. These teeny weeny little fruits that I picked off the plant right before I pulled it and chucked it into the woods. I had 2 Super Sweet 100s. They both died. Like, they made a little bit of fruit production and then they died. So I grew, let me think, 2020? 2020, I had a Super Sweet 100 in my garden. And I'm pretty sure that the fruits were bigger than this. Pretty sure. I would say 30% bigger. So my Super Sweet struggled from the beginning. Not sure what was up with that. Not sure if I should grow them again, honestly. Maybe. That might be a maybe. Actually, it needs to be tried one more time and let's see what we think. Because everybody seems to love Super Sweet 100. I just maybe had a bad luck this year with it. But let me think. What did we talk about? We talked about Glacier. We talked about Super Sweet 100 in this video. We talked about New Big Dwarf there on the right. Ace 55 on the left. You can see somebody's been eating the tomatoes. They're disappearing quickly. We talked about Legend here on the right corner. And then we talked about the beautiful Queen of the Night. And so that is 6 tomatoes for this video. And I do recommend, if you do not have any balsamic glaze, you need to get some. Okay, well, that's going to do it, guys. I'd love to see your comments below if you've grown any of these tomatoes. Let me know. Talk to you soon. Bye.